Hello everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the Cellar TV. And so what we're going to be tasting today is this fantastic little white wine, and it's a Pinot Grigio up from the Friuli region, which, if those of you that aren't familiar, is the home of Pinot Grigio, well, the historic home of Pinot Grigio as we know it today. And Friuli is up in the northeast of Italy, so it's right up there with the Trento and Alto Adige regions up in the northeast. So it's a very cold, well, it's not a very cold climate, but it's a sort of a coolish climate anyway. And there's also a lot of altitude there. So the region, the Friuli region, as well as the Trento and Alto Adige regions next door, they're also quite mountainous and quite hilly. So that means that there's a lot of sort of exposure to the sun in the summertime when it counts, but also quite a lot of those cooling sort of breezes in the autumn time and the springtime, which actually allows for a lot of very sort of complex aromatic development in the actual grapes themselves, which lead to very exciting and very sort of fruity and fresh and, as I say, concentrated sort of wines. Anyway, so Pinot Grigio is just one of the many grape varietals that you can find up there. And this particular one is from Gigante. So here's a little close-up shot for you. So Gigante is a fairly new winery to not just us, but to New Zealand as well. And this is their 2016 Pinot Grigio. So let's give it a little sniff, shall we? So instantly on the nose, I'm just struck with this really beautiful, juicy, like fresh, just literally picked right off the tree, sort of white peach sort of characteristic. And then there's also this lovely, beautiful sort of, it's both actually green pear and white pear on the nose, which is rather lovely, but very fresh sort of fruit flavors. Nothing candied, nothing dried or anything else. So this is just purely fresh orchard sort of fruit. And then that lovely, as it sort of opens up, that lovely sort of citrusy sort of flavor comes through with just a touch of So it's this great sort of grapefruit peel and just a little bit of sort of lemon juice. Not too much. It is much more on that sort of citrusy spectrum, which is much more up in the grapefruit side of things. And as I say, there's lovely sort of pear and there's fresh, juicy. That's not going away anytime soon. That juicy white peach. It's lovely on the nose. Absolutely lovely on the nose. And as I say, the more it opens up, a little bit of that sort of nutty complexity is coming up. It's a really stunning Pinot Grigio, actually. Some of them are quite bland, quite boring, but this one, complete opposite. Anyway, let's give it a little taste. So again, like you'd expect with all those beautiful sort of peachy, stone fruity, those pear flavors, those very ripe, as I said, and then quite concentrated sort of flavors. Again, on the palate, lots of richness here, lots of fruit sweetness as well. It is a dry wine, nice and dry. There's a fair bit of acidity here as well, actually, for a Pinot Grigio. 2016, slightly cooler vintage, so that makes sense to have a little bit more acidity, which is nice actually, because as I said, there is so much sort of fruit sweetness and fruit richness here on the palate that having a slightly higher acidity here, compared to other Pinot Grigios, that is, it is actually helping here to make it a lovely sort of refreshing white wine. And then again, those peachy flavors, that grapefruit, a little bit of sort of grapefruit juice now, and that's much more on that sort of yellow grapefruit as opposed to pink grapefruit, by the way. And again, that slightly nutty aspect on the palate here, which would be to do with a little bit of extended lees contact with the wines in sort of barrel and maturing. And actually, I have to say, there's a little bit of a sort of toasted pecans and sort of that toastiness, that sort of pastry aspect on the palate as well, that sort of nutty, bready aspect. It's lovely actually. So there's really, as you can see, there's a whole lot sort of happening in this wine. There's toasty nuttiness and that breadiness, and then there's those beautiful, rich sort of stone fruit flavors of peachiness, and there's pears, and then a little bit of citrus here. As far as Pinot Grigio goes, this is probably one of the most complex and one of the most interesting Pinot Grigios I've ever had, in all honesty. Anyway, so this is, as I said, this is brand new up onto the Cellar store up online. I think it's retailing about $40 a bottle, and honestly, this sort of quality, that's actually a bit of a steal. I'm not going to lie to you there. Anyway, so all the information is below, so we've got the link right to the product if you're wanting to learn a little bit more about it, or pick yourself up a couple of bottles. I highly recommend it. As far as summer is going, and well, that's coming up, isn't it? And so you're definitely going to have to make sure you get at least a couple of bottles of these to glug along with, as well as check out a few of the other wines from Gigante. So they're up in Friuli. They do make some red wines, and they make some sparkling wines as well, but their white wines are absolutely stunning. We've also got some of their Sauvignon Blanc. They've got a Chardonnay, and then a Friulano, or a Tokai Friulano is the full name of the grape varietal there. So again, lots of sort of citrusy, juicy sort of white wines. Very exciting, all very fantastic. And of course, if you have enjoyed our video, I do please highly recommend you to check out a few of our other videos. We've got loads and loads of content that's going up every sort of week, 2 weeks or so. Lots of videos, a few other videos tasting Italian wines, some American wines, and etc. and etc. So please do check it all out. It's all up there. And as I say, we are adding in new stuff all the time. And as well, if you have enjoyed it, please do subscribe. That's much appreciated. And like away, comment away, let us know if you've tried this particular Pinot Grigio, or if there are any other Pinot Grigios from up in the Friuli region that you're absolutely fans of at the moment. And of course, I've been Connal Finlay. This has been the Cellar TV. Cheers.